Welcome back, guys, to a brand new episode of my F1 2025 Can I Beat the Pole Lap series. Now, we arrive at China, Shanghai, for the second race of the season, and we have a couple of updates, and there's one that's very notable. Now, you may be wondering, why am I in a Ferrari when the Ferrari hasn't gotten pole? At least that's what I predict. Why am I saying that? Because I'm pre-recording today's episode. So I've given myself the liberty of picking a different car because I don't know who's got pole yet. Even though I know it's going to be a McLaren, I'm going to pretend that it's going to be a little bit competitive and Ferrari might put up a good fight. So for this one, I'm in Leclerc's Ferrari. So yeah, as I mentioned, pre-recording it, so I have no idea what's going to happen. So this should be fun. In terms of lap time, obviously we don't have a guide. So what we're doing for this one is we're going to run last year's pole lap back, so a 1:33.6 from Verstappen. And to get a guide of what we're looking for, in Australia in round 1, the lap time improvement from 2024 to 2025 was 9/10. So we're going to basically aim for around a high 1 minute 32, give or take. If we're being exact, 9/10 is a 1:32.7. And that's kind of going to be the target lap time, give or take. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Either way, for now, let's have a bit of fun and see how we get on. And we can enjoy things and get sweaty without knowing the lap time that we have to beat. So, first lap of the day, as we go into MGUK low, or strat mode 2, we're going to get this first lap started. This also, by the way, is the first F1 2025 car mod that I'm driving with the Ferrari. In the previous episode, we used a reskinned 2024 McLaren as we run it in a bit wide there on the hard tyres through turn 1, picking up some understeer. But this is actually an early version of the 2025 Ferrari. I'll leave a link, of course, always down below. First sector in the books. Bit of a front lock up there. I'm going to just push the brake bias back a little bit for now. Car already feels pretty stable, pretty consistent. Quite bumpy at times, the track. Oh, lots of understeer. Need to get some front wing on. Really need to try and get that dialed out immediately. Could be the tyres though, to be fair. Good traction though, good rear grip, rear confidence. Oh, we're well deep. Well deep. Now, technically, this lap time isn't going to count. My delta bar has an asterisk next to it, and that's because of the off at turn 1. Anyway, 38.9. Let's quickly do that again, and just keep it within track limits, shall we? So, through turn 1. That's a lot better this time. A lot tidier. Now, let's make sure we do the same thing at the chicane before the banking. Turn 8. Having to wait a little bit to pick the throttle up. Just about within track limits there. That's more like it. Still front locking, but we keep it on track this time. And now easy does it. Just ease the throttle on through the banking. Lots of bumps on the way through, but now onto the backstretch. Let's see what the top speed looks like as we open DRS. 310, maybe about 312. As we get it all stopped. Good stopping power, to be fair. Can definitely brake a bit later there, probably within 100 meters. And now the final corner. Do not do an Alonso and keep it out the gravel. There we go, lovely stuff. Over the line. 1:35.4. Very good banker lap. That's already within 2 seconds of last year's pole on a default setup with hard tyres. But again, there should be lap time improvement this year, especially because they've, I believe, re-tarmacked the circuit, which can be a bad thing, but tends to be a good thing in terms of pace as the lap times are faster. Okay, so let's do some quick adjustments here. First off, of course, we're going to drop the tyres by a step and go a bit softer onto some mediums or some C3s, which will likely be one of the race tyres. We're going to halve the fuel here from 30 to 15 litres, and then we're also going to be running a balance on the MGUK for this lap. I'm also going to just put the engine brake there up to 9. Now, the wing is interesting. I like how the rear feels. I'm just going to put the front up by 1 to get a bit more front sharpness, responsiveness. Other than that, I think we're just going to tweak the bias to 53, so a bit more rearward, and And I'm also just going to get them ride heights down a little bit. I'm going to go 30 on the front, and I'm going to go 70 on the rear. It's a fairly flat circuit, so we can afford to get away with it. So let's see if those adjustments will give us a decent bit of lap time. I will say the car feels bloody quick already, so I think we're going to get close to the 33.6 on this one. Let's find out. Over the line, DRS open as we get the lap underway. Down towards turn 1. Lovely stuff. Bit of understeer still on the front end, but it'll help us open up the line for turn 2 and then turn 3 technically. These two corners. On the power, open up the steering wheel there on the way out to just take a wider line so you can get the power down earlier. Turn 5 coming up. A little bit deep there, lock up on the front right. Just had to let the brake go slowly. Now then, flat out through 6. Just hold it in the 6th gear. Take a downshift, feed it into 7, and stay tight to open up 8. And then turn 9. Nicely done. And now into 11, 12. Locked up last time. No such drama this time around. Tried 4th gear, not sure that's going to work or not, but we've gained a nice chunk of time here, and this is going to get us very close to last year's pole lap already. DRS open. We're on for a high 33. Wow, good braking there. Bit of a lock up, but we've got the car stopped. We're going to do it already. I said I felt like we could do it on this tyre. Oh, wrong gear. Oops, my bad. Missed the downshift. Either way, it's easy. 33.4. It's easy. Car's quicker. Lap times quicker this year, as you would expect. So we are definitely aiming for a 32.7. But I think the potential goes beyond that. Now then, let's do it, shall we? Soft tyres. I am going to up all the pressures by 2 clicks to avoid overheating. Fuel were already pretty low, so technically if I halve the 15 litres, we're basically there. So 4 laps of fuel, we can take out maybe another couple of litres, but that's going to be it. We're going to run MGUK push, which is the highest mode available, and then all we have left is an MGUH adjustment. For the wing, I am going to go up on both by an extra click. The benefit of more engine mode and also tyre grip should hopefully allow us to really push more in the corners. Elsewhere, alignment, I'm going to just make a subtle adjustment here for now, just to be a bit more aggressive with the car setting. I'm going to keep the rear toned down. Do not want them rears overheating, so we're going to just dial that out a little bit. And then I'm going to put the bars on 52. Can definitely get away with a bit more rearward bias. And then I'm also going to take some roll bar out front and rear. And I think this should do the trick. I'm going to also just knock a little bit out the ride height on the rear. Let's give this a go. Now this is going to be quick. I think we're going to smash a 32.7 personally. Can we go over a second quicker? I also think we can. I think we're going to aim for, going over a second quicker than last year's pole lap. Here we go. Over the line. Lap on the way. Let's get to it. Still got some of the understeer. I think that's just inherently of the track rather than the car or the setup. Through turn 2 and 3, we keep it nice and tight there. That's the tyre grip. Didn't have to take a wide line to find the traction. But I ran a bit wide last time. Broke a little bit too early there, but we get our apex, make it much tidier. Only 2 turns up though so far, as we swing it through 7 or 6 and now into 7. This is where we're going to find that extra grip from the wings and of course the tyres. A little bit deep there through 7, but or 8, sorry, we keep 9 tidy into the chicane. Downshift warning, been a bit too aggressive there on the downshift. Keep hitting 3rd through here, and now we'll short shift to 4th. Lovely. And now onto the banking. Half a second up, we might lose a little bit of time here. DRS open. We're going to probably drop to 4/10 as we arrive at the braking zone, which we nailed last time, by the way. deep that time. And we oversteer on the exit. 1 corner to go. We made a mistake here last time. That's better. Over the line. A little bit of grass. 1:32.6. So basically a second quicker. Just under or just outside of being a second quicker. 9.8 something, tenths. But very, very good. Very, very quick. Now this is what I think a potentially final version of the setup could look like. And it's going to be the last version I show you before I go into, full sweat mode. So tyres unchanged. Fuel, we're now a litre lighter. So we're now on the minimum fuel, enough for an out lap, time lap, in lap, and a little bit of a sample. Electronics, we're going to run full power. So push and motor on the MGU-H. Aero, I've upped the front wing by a click to try and find a bit more front end bite with the car. There's a touch of understeer that I can't quite get rid of. Alignment, I've kept the same. I was happy with that. The tyres didn't overheat too much, so that's quite good. Dampers, obviously we'll get into those if we get really complex. Today is not a sort of day because we're already quicker than last year's pole, and I don't know what this year's pole lap's going to be. Generic, bias down to 50. This is quite an interesting adjustment, but I feel like I'm not really locking the rears, so I'm going to try and push that a bit more. And if that does work, we should gain some decent lap time with that. Elsewhere, we're going to also bring down the roll bar on the front a little bit. We're going to make the wheel rates a little bit sharper on the front. I've also dropped the ride heights a little touch more, and just trying to basically get that front end to be a bit crisp and the back end to just relax a little bit. So let's see how this goes. Right then, motor mode engaged on the MGU-H and push. Let's try and clean up the lap and try and go a bit quicker. Here we go. Out the last corner, DRS open. Look at that, we're gaining on the straight even though we put the wing up. I'm going to try and stay a bit tighter here. Scrub off a little bit more speed for a better line. A little bit wide at turn 3, but generally it's decent. I think we're going to find a nice bit of time on this one. Turn 5. I feel like I could brake a bit later, but I'm also thinking I'm going to lock the fronts. That was better than last time though. Last time was quite conservative on the brakes. I think a 31's possible. 131 that is. A little bit early there on the turn in for turn 8, but we kept it tidy more or less. Into the chicane. Watch the direction change, back end can get loose. Short shift to get the power down. And unlike on the last run, we should gain lap time all the way down the straight now with that full power mode engaged with the engine. Just got to keep it clean now for the last 2 corners. Could be a 31. Nice. 1 corner to go. Oh, just about out the gravel, up to the line. Yes, 1:31.8. Granted, the mod might be a little bit quick, or the track conditions are a bit too good. I have it set to my usual track grip, so maybe this particular mod is quite grippy. There's lots of factors. But then again, let's be honest. I have no idea what the pole time will be this weekend, and they're re-tarmacking the entire track, so for all I know, it might be super grippy, or it might be really slippy and just, shred the tyres apart. I'm going to go for one more. I want to try and see if I could squeeze a little bit more time out of that one without comms and just keep it sharp and see what I can do. Damn it. That was a really good lap. There's a bit of time there. Last corner over the line. Used all my battery. It's quicker, but there's a little bit there at the hairpin if we just clean that up a little bit. very nice lap. No mistakes except for the hairpin. I ran a little bit deep, but I was able to square it off and get a good exit, and I still managed to recover the time that I'd lost. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm happy with that lap. The rest of the lap was chef's kiss. Every apex on the money. So I'll take that. Right, here we go then. Final version of the setup is the one I showed you before, but just to recap. Softs, C4s with those pressures, 6 litres of fuel, enough for out lap, in lap, push on the MGUK, which is maximum, motor on the MGUH, which is maximum. I also upped the engine brake to 10, small adjustment there, wing 8.6, alignment, I just basically moved the camber and the toe over a little bit and then the rear to the other side, keep it the rear more stable basically. Then brake bars on 50, worked pretty well, and then elsewhere, copy the values here for the wall rates, the ride height, the roll bars. You know the game, you know the rules, same story as always, job done. Rest is default. Anyway guys, there we go for today's episode. Is Ferrari going to get pole with either Leclerc or Hamilton? Probably not, but you know, I think it's going to be Norris, let's be honest. It's going to be Lando unless something weird happens, but the question is, what will the pace be? As I mentioned before, fresh tarmac, I expect there will be a decent lap time improvement. Also, last year Max was basically cruising, let's be honest. You know, the early part of the season, the Red Bull was so quick. This year, I think they'll be pushing a bit more, and it could be quite competitive. On the other hand, if the tarmac isn't great, and it ends up burning out the tyres, lap times could be not that great, but I do expect to be an improvement. Will they be in the 31s? Probably not. I think they'll be in the 32s. But either way, we'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. Hopefully, that lap was enough to beat it. I think it will be. In the meantime, guys, leave a like on the video. Subscribe for more. Down below, you're going to have all the links for the track and the car mods. So go check those out, guys. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. And we'll go to the next one, and we'll see what happens then. In the meantime, a massive shout out to my channel members for supporting the content. Check out the 2 videos on screen, guys, for more videos from my channel. And I'll see you guys in my next one very soon. Ciao.